here now with he's the host of Special Report with Bret Baier. All right, Bret, now officials, what they're saying, they don't believe the outbreak was linked to any kind of man-made biological weapons program, according to your report, and they don't believe the contamination was intentional. Do we know this for certain, or is there a possibility it was manufactured? Is there a possibility the spread was intentional? You've confirmed in your reporting they protected their country, but they let the rest of the world get this virus.
Yeah, Sean, good evening. There's really zero confidence in the people I've talked to and publicly that this was a man-made virus. You heard Tony Fauci asked this question in a way about the lab in the White House task force briefing tonight, and he said that there are a lot of studies that show that it was transmitted from animal to human and that it was not genetically altered. That matches what our sources said and what we reported at the beginning, that they didn't think, based on the structure of the genome of the virus, that it was man-made. Now, the thing that is inconclusive is exactly about the lab, but more and more dots, both open source and classified, point right to the lab, and that's why we said increasing confidence. What there is 100% confidence of, and we've reported this, and now more and more officials are saying it publicly, is the level and extent of the cover-up China went to, and part of those dots fit into why there's such a point at looking at this lab. Secretary Pompeo talking about it publicly today with Hugh Hewitt on the radio.
Now, 98%, we do know this from SARS. Most people may not remember SARS also was a coronavirus, and according to the scientists and doctors I've interviewed, when they broke down the sequence in record time, which is why we're in stage 1 trials for a vaccine, there was a 98% similar sequence as SARS, again, another coronavirus, which would lend itself to the theory that they didn't do this intentionally, meaning create the virus, that it was there. What is the exact evidence that that they're giving you? What are they saying specifically behind this report that proves this?
On the man-made part, yeah, well, they believe that this doctor, Shizheng Li, who was working in the Wuhan virology lab, was essentially working on antiviral and immunization efforts. That's what our sources are saying. That's what matches some of the reports that were out from the University of South China and others, that there were efforts to study these viruses in that very lab. And basically that the non-man-made part is pointing specifically to the genetic mapping of this virus right now, and that it hopped from an animal to human, and it was not altered in its genetic sequence. That's what we're getting.
And just to be clear, in your reporting, you're saying that it was the Chinese viewed this as dangerous enough that they weren't allowing flights in or out of Wuhan to any other part of China, but they were allowing it to the rest of the world, which would say they knew it was that dangerous.
Well, then you look at other elements there, dots on the board, and that is how much they went to scrub all of the data. The fact that you can't find some of these doctors, including Shizheng Li, who was working on it. The fact that some of the samples were destroyed. The fact that just today, Sean, the Chinese government announced an increase in the death total in Wuhan by 50%.
50%. What a joke. That's
just today.
Unbelievable. All right, Bret Baier, great job. Thank you for your reporting. Thanks for sharing it with our viewers.